Amaterasu, heaven shining, the Shinto goddess of the sun, a source of heat, a provider of light, a marker of time, yet dangerous, scorching the land and sea, and upon disappearing driving the world into cold stagnation. But how strong is she? Baseline, Amaterasu has large island-level scaling, because when Susano'o went to meet with her before his exile from the heavens, he caused all of the mountains and rivers to boom and the land to shake, and considering Susano'o's own might, and this feat alerting her to the arrival of her mighty brother, she should at least be able to match, considering she was more than ready to go if a fray came up. Logically, however, she is the sun, and like in the story of the Amano Iwato, her disappearance causes both heaven and earth to become trapped in an eternal night, this instantaneous erasure of the sun and her reemergence instantly putting it back, both reach into that star to large star levels of power, manifesting a star instantly. Now, while that feat seems to be more of a manifestation of her power, an emanation, or removal of it, it does not directly scale to say if she threw a punch, though considering she is literally the sun, I think giving her star level scaling is the least controversial scaling I've done on this channel. There is a dubious way, however, of scaling her higher. And while I don't sit by it, there is a very good point to be proven that Takamagahara, her divine domain, a separate plane of existence, the home of the other Koto Matsukami, was dragged into darkness when she vanished as well, meaning that she lights a heavenly divine realm, potentially reaching all the way up to universal levels of scaling, though Takamagahara doesn't inherently have a definitive size. It just is a divine space. So this could just be her star level scaling being reiterated, or it could be brought up to universal. I'll leave that for your decision. In terms of durability, like most gods, Amaterasu tends not to get into fights, and the only time she's hurt is when she's frightened, by Susano'o flaying the piebald colt, and subsequently the death of one of her divine seamstresses. And considering she had little fear of getting hurt by Susano'o in combat, who could shake all of Japan, and drain it of all of its life just by crying, she scales above that island level of power. All things likely, considering she can withstand generating the light and heat of the sun, she should scale firmly into that star levels of attack potency as well, with her durability. And more so if you believe Takamagahara, her divine plane, is a separate universal space, she would scale to the universal limitations of that as well. Speed scaling for Amaterasu is quite easy. Baseline, she is light speed. She is the sun. It is her light. Therefore, she moves at the speed of light. If not just a little faster, because her light is instantaneously lighting the earth and the sun just doesn't do that. There's a time delay, but the Japanese writers at the time didn't know that either. And logically, she can traverse from Takamagahara to earth and back along the divine bridge, closing a distance that has no definitive distance, so she could have irrelevant speed as well, though I tend not to do higher dimensional scaling for this channel. Now on to abilities. Being a goddess, Amaterasu has her fair share of them. She can communicate through dreams, generate other gods from chewing mundane items, blades, beads, string, and she clearly wields the power of the sun in her hands. Seeing her willingness to fight Susano'o, who has a habit of actually fighting, her martial prowess should also be quite high. At least, that's what it seems, considering she was bow and arrow and not throwing the sun at her brother. So she can probably throw hands as well. So, whether the sun is high in the sky illuminating the day, or it falls and plunges the world into eternal night, kneel and pray. For Ohirume's whims determine both, and her cheer is far better than her ire. As always, thanks for watching.